Welcome back to Bleeding Blue, a sit-down podcast of the Exeter's athletes. The show is back for summer episodes with a number of talented senior athletes who just recently graduated. I'm Adam Cooke, the host of this production, as well as a writer, reporter, and soccer announcer at Exeter. Today, I talked with Hayden Adams, an impressive three-sport athlete who was captain in field hockey as well as track and field in her senior year. Hayden talked about managing these sports with a number of clubs and transferring between schools. She is currently committed to Franklin and Marshall for track and field. Make sure to stick around to the end of the episode for new information regarding the podcast and ways to apply to become a guest. I hope everyone enjoys the show. Just a heads up, the audio for this episode faced some technical difficulties. Apologies in advance for the lower quality sound and various background noises. Welcome back to Bleeding Blue for the summer. I'm joined by graduated senior Hayden Adams, who plays field hockey and does track and field in both the winter and the spring. So, glad to have you on. How are you, Hayden?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So, can you just introduce yourself a little bit, who you are, and what you've accomplished at Exeter?
My name is Hayden Adams, and I've gone to Exeter since sophomore year. I was in a lot of clubs, and I joined both the track and the field hockey team, and was a captain of both through those years.
Yeah, so let's talk about field hockey a little bit. What position did you play? And I know you said you were captain, so what kind of influence did you bring to the team?
Well, for position, it was more a position I didn't play because I was kind of all over the field. Through the years, I started on defense, moved up to midfield, moved forward. I played goalie one practice, but that was but everything else. I really tried to just bring a positive attitude to the team as a captain and make sure to bring everyone together and being focused on winning, but also just enjoying the sport and doing it because you love it and because you want to help out your teammates.
I mean, what is that like, being all over the place in terms of positions? Does that hinder or does that affect how you're playing, or does that not really a factor for you?
I had never played before, and so it was kind of a progression of my skills and what I was better at. So for starting off, defense was better for me because my stick skill and speed weren't there yet. And so as I moved up and the coaches realized my speed, they could move me up more and realize, okay, so I'm good at intercepting, or I'm good at going after and cherry picking. So that's as I got moved up.
Yeah, and you were co-captain with Addie DeVage, right?
Yep.
So what was it like working with her as a senior and kind of influencing some of the younger talent on the team?
We definitely worked well together. We both had the same outlook. We also both started sophomore year, so we had never played before. We came on just because we wanted to play sport and because we wanted to have that team mentality. And so it's just about positivity and getting to know everybody and being a strong team on and off the field.
Do you think this year's team in the fall was particularly strong because there was a lot of senior talent like you and Addie, Lexi Mata too, right? And a lot of younger underclassmen talent. What's that mix like?
We definitely had a strong freshman class come in. We have a pretty talented group overall. We had a lot of new players this year. I think that it was a pretty good year, and I think that it's building. And the next few years, I think that the team will see a lot of improvement. But we meshed pretty well this year.
How does that translate with your speed between field hockey and track? Is there really an overlap with that and how it helps you play?
I mean, there's definitely an overlap in just having the training from track helped, I think, to make me faster on the field. It's a different kind of speed just because of when you're running on a field, you're running side to side and all that kind of stuff. But I think I realized that I was fast in field hockey, and that's part of the reason I went out for track. But it's very different, but obviously you're running in both, but...
What are the team dynamic differences between the two sports? Because field hockey's a little bit smaller, and girls track, it's a huge team.
Yeah. So field hockey definitely is small, and you're all there for the same reason. Track you also are, but there's so much... Track, also girls and boys are pretty much always combined, and there's just there's so many things going on at once. There's the throwing, there's distance, there's sprints, there's jumps, there's all that. So you're doing your own thing in this big, huge team environment. So there's a lot of different people.
You did winter and spring track, correct?
Yeah.
So what are some of the differences between playing in the winter, playing in the spring, and do you have a preference between them?
Spring is definitely a lot more fun. I don't think you'd find anyone who would be like, oh, winter track. I'm so excited. Because winter is really, that's when you get the hard work done. It's about conditioning and just about self-improvement because you aren't in the typical, you're not in dual meets. So there's not really a score in the same way. You're not trying to make playoffs. It's just about yourself and getting better. And spring, you have the needs and you want to go to counties and all that stuff.
Yeah, and which events were you participating in?
Pole vault and the hurdles, so 300 hurdles and the 100 hurdles, and then also I always do relays, so I did the 4x1 sometimes, and I didn't do any 4x4s this year, but I had in the past.
Mm-hmm. And you were Berks All Division 1 for your pole vault.
Yeah.
So did that, do you think that's your strong suit when it comes to track?
This year I think that I did better in the hurdles, actually.
Oh.
I had a lot of improvement. I dropped, at counties, I dropped 3 seconds for my season time, which is a lot for hurdles. And I went to districts for both the 100 and the 300 hurdles. Pole vault, I also had improvement, but it's definitely a growing sport, and there's a lot of upcoming players who are a lot better at it. So,
what is that playoff experience like?
Well, you get down to just the people who are really not just there for fun anymore, and that are there because they're really good. You see a really big mix of people track. There's so many schools and so many teams that you get to see schools you wouldn't necessarily see in other sports. And you're there for the right reasons, and you're there to put in the work, and everyone's ready to warm up and do all that stuff. It's more focused, I would say.
What is that environment like and that pressure that you have to face? Do you think you're good at dealing with that?
Yeah, I'm not super susceptible to the pressures of it. Sports, I really enjoy them, but it's always an extra for me. It's never been like, oh, I have to do this. This is the only reason I'm here. Yeah. It's like, I just am happy with what I have. Everyone has bad days, and I'm not saying that I'm never disappointed, but it's not something that I internalize in any real way.
Yeah. Also doing pole vault was the incoming freshman, Kara Miller.
Mm-hmm.
What was your relationship with her, and were you guys able to help each other succeed?
Yeah, we both went to the same private coach. We didn't spend a lot of time at the Exeter mat, really. Mm-hmm. And I was pretty focused on hurdles this year, but we got along. She's really got a bright future. She broke our school record and all that. So I think that's been good.
How does having a private coach in a sport like that help you, and how much work does that require to go see that?
It definitely depends on how much you want to put into it. I went about once a week just because it's really, pole vault can be very dangerous if you're not doing it correctly, and so I wanted to have the comfort of the private coach who knows what she's doing, knows how to handle it, and is technically proficient. So I thought that was really important because once you're getting to those higher heights, you could get seriously injured, and I didn't want that.
Yeah. Have you ever faced any major injuries throughout your multiple sports?
Not really. I dislocated my shoulder a little bit a couple years ago, but it was like a small one. I didn't really fully do it. So I did some physical therapy and rehab, and then I was fine. Yeah. But I never broke anything or anything like that.
That's good. So how are you able to manage your time between sports each season and making sure you're staying efficient in each one of them?
Well, it's pretty constant since I was a 3-sport athlete, but I was very busy in high school overall, so I also was doing 10 clubs, so it's just about the routine and making sure that you're not procrastinating, making sure you're getting everything done and keeping up with schoolwork. And for the most part, especially with track, practice was so consistent in the time that it just became part of the school day almost.
Mm-hmm. What is it like participating in so many clubs, especially when you have a leadership position in a number of them?
I loved it. When I came to Exeter, I wanted to get super involved and I wanted to get to know people, and by joining so many different clubs, I got to know that many different people. And then as I rose up to the leadership, I just liked that I could influence them and try and have a positive impact on all those people.
What school were you at before Exeter?
I went to Kimberton Waldorf School, which is a private school. It's half-hour away.
Mm-hmm. What was that transition like? I know you're talking about some of the social and athletic aspects, but academically, what is that change like for you?
Well, it was also COVID that I switched, so yeah. That was Waldorf is not technology based. That is actually part of their curriculum, is that they are more of the classic education. And so when you went to online, we're like, oh, this is not really their strong suit. So then we moved to a public school because that's something that's already in the curriculum and is used. And it was really from 8th grade to being a freshman. So I feel like education changes so much anyway that didn't really affect me. I have moved a lot when I was younger, so it wasn't that big a deal. Like, I don't mind moving, I'm used to it. So I didn't really have any negative effects, I'd say.
You were the last class that had COVID during high school, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what was that like for you in its entirety, just getting thrown off when you're transitioning into high school?
I mean, it was just kind of like a pause, almost. I also moved during that time, so it was like I moved, and it was just being at home, at my new home. I don't really think that it was that bad, for me at least. I don't know, I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
It was definitely weird to come into a big school, coming from, because like my Kimberton class, they graduated as well, and it graduated 17 kids in the class.
Yeah.
So then I come here and I graduate with like 325 or something. So that was a lot different, but I really liked having that bigger experience.
When you're having that bigger experience with so many people in the Exeter community around you, are they able to help you thrive and succeed, on the field, in the classroom, and just as a person in general?
Definitely. I felt very supported by the staff and by most of the people that I met at Exeter. I just had a great experience, and I feel like there's everything you need. You just have to go get it. It's not going to come to you, but once you look for it, it's there.
What was your workload like in terms of different classes, and how was that distributed between each year of high school? Like, was your senior workload a little lighter than, say, your junior year?
Definitely junior year I did. Like, I did a couple APs and everything, and I took mostly honors. I mean, I did that throughout, but junior year was it's the heaviest year, I feel like, for anyone.
Yeah.
And senior year, my first semester was a lot heavier, and then second semester was pretty light. But I never had a really problem balancing my academics that much.
Yeah. We're going to move into some rapid fire questions. Don't feel too pressured to answer too quickly. I'll just ask you a question. You'll just list something off the top of your head. So, favorite field or track at a different school?
Oh, that's a hard one. I can't even think of them. They blended together so much. I don't like the Mifflin track. That's really hard. But
That's fair.
I don't know. I can't even think of a good one. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can think of, it's like, I feel like bad ones stand out more than good ones, but
That's
I don't want
fair.
to diss all the schools that have bad tracks.
Favorite post-game meal?
Post game, I often am not that hungry after games. I don't know why. It would be like late that night, and then I just eat snacks. But like post summer practices, Chick-fil-A was really good for me. I would get there and I'd be so hungry, and I'd just eat like everything.
Do you have any particular teammates that you thought were the funniest?
That's also really hard. I feel like there's a lot, especially with track. There's just so many people.
Yeah.
I'd say Joven. Joven's one of my
Joven.
favorites. Who else? I don't know. I liked a lot of everyone I was there had some aspect that was good. I feel like.
Yeah. Favorite musical genre?
I know I'm terrible at this, but I like all sorts of music. I listen to like. It really depends on the day. It depends on if I got my windows down or my windows up, and like there's so many factors. I like to keep it mixed up.
Yeah. And do you have any unique facts about yourself that others wouldn't really know?
Well, I moved 6 times before I was 10, which is definitely something. I live on a farm. I can ride a unicycle. There we go. Those are my...
So, kind of getting back into the normal questions. What kind of family experiences do you have at Exeter? I know you have a sister, Harper, who just finished her junior year. What other family has gone to Exeter, or is this kind of new for you guys?
This is definitely new. We moved here. We used to live in Philadelphia. But so I'm the first and she'll be the second one to go to Exeter. We've had a good experience. I feel like both of us. We've had different experiences because we're different people, but I don't think that either of us have had a negative there.
When you guys are just one grade apart, does it help you when you're, kind of moving and transitioning to a bunch of different schools and different experiences?
Yeah, we've definitely been very close. She's been my best friend the whole time because we've always had her. We shared a room until, like, I don't even know, until we were like 10, 11. And just, we've always been very, very close and had each other no matter what. So.
How's the rest of your family been able to help you succeed and push you to be a better student, person, or athlete?
I think that my family has done that by not pushing us so hard. Of course, they want us to do well and want us to be our best selves, but it has never been like you have to play a sport, you have to be in little leagues. Like that was never it. It was kind of go as you go, and we're here to support you, and we want you to push to be your best self, but we're not asking you to be someone you're not.
So do you think coming into sports with a more lenient, relaxed, and trying to have fun, is that approach better for you personally to help you succeed and enjoy your time more?
For me, it definitely worked because there was not the pressure of doing well. So when I did well, it was just happy. It was not like, oh, there's disappointment because I didn't. It was just like, look at me go. I've only been doing this a couple of years and now I'm having great success with it.
What's some of your pre-game mentality when you're stepping onto the field hockey field or warming up to compete in a track event?
Just getting it done, making sure. I think it's a lot. For me, it's like the day before is more important, and I want to eat healthy and drink a lot of water and do all the right things to prepare my body, and just not overthink or get in my head. I feel like it's track. Once you're on, you're just like, okay, I'm on the line. I gotta go. And same with field hockey. Just like I want to do my best and do well, and just for field hockey, it's definitely like, all right, what team am I facing? What team is behind me too? Like who's on the field and who are we facing right now?
Yeah. How do you think some of those preparations and just things you bring to the table with athletics can help you as a person down the line? What effects have you seen?
For track, it's definitely holding yourself accountable because numbers and marks don't lie. You can never say like, oh, this was so-and-so's fault because these are your times, you ran them and they're solid. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely just like, this is what you did and here's how you can improve and putting in the work at practice. So I feel like that's definitely something that applies in real life too. Yeah.
How much have you been missing Exeter for this past 2 weeks since you've graduated?
I mean, I'm happy it's summer. I'm sure I'm going to miss it later, but right now I'm just kind of relieved because the end of senior year is so busy. There's so many things. It's not bad things. There's just so much packed in to the last couple months that I was just wanted to sleep for the last month.
What was that feeling when you were walking at graduation and finally that was it?
It was very quick. And also, I was the first person to graduate because my
alphabetically?
My name is Adams, so I went up, I was done, I was like, oh, well, that happened, and then I had to wait for everyone else to do it. So I feel like it was just like, oh, wait, that already happened. I did that, I got my diploma. It was just kind of really quick.
Do you have any favorite days or events at Exeter that you'll look back on the most fondly?
I loved everything. I mean, I feel like of course there's always bad days, but I had a lot of fun. I had homecoming week was really fun, and the senior sunset was really fun. And I just, the spirit weeks, I always tried to give it my best and dress up and just enjoy every moment of it because I would rather do something over the top and embarrassing and just have fun with it than spend my time being self-conscious about it.
And you were on homecoming court, right? Yeah. What was that experience like for you?
I had a lot of fun with that too because I wasn't expecting it, and I wasn't like, oh no, am I gonna be queen? Because I was like, I'm on the court, that's so cool. So it was really fun to just go through the motions. That was another thing. It was so busy, but again, it was so many fun things, but so much packed into one single week.
There's a lot of awesome people, a lot of awesome athletes, students in the class of 24. How have you been able to stand out and succeed, do you think, among so much talent?
I think I just tried to diversify what I was doing and never be just a singular thing. I was never just a field hockey player, just a track runner, or just in one club. I wanted to just do it all. And I think that's something that kind of set me apart. And by doing so much, I knew so many people and got to know people I might not have known just from class.
Yeah. Are there any specific activities outside of sports that you enjoyed most, specifically clubs that you led in?
I loved the Leo Club. It was so fun and we did a lot of good things, and also mock trial because even though we weren't doing that much mock trial, it was just the atmosphere was so fun, and like the meetings got a little crazy, but we always had lots of laughs.
What has it meant to you to be an Exeter Eagle, bleed blue, and how has it impacted you considering you've done so many sports and other activities?
I definitely did bleed blue. That's how it was. By the end of the year, I was like, looking back, even at the end of senior year, I'm like, look at all the things I did and how many people I impacted potentially, which was really a good feeling. And I feel like I left a good mark on Exeter and did a lot of things, and it really was a springboard into the future for me.
So you're going to Franklin and Marshall, and you're going to continue your track career there. So what are you going to be majoring in?
I haven't decided my major yet. I have as you can see with all the clubs I do, I have so many interests that I didn't want to pick one and then have to switch later. So I'm going in undecided so I can narrow it down. F&M has really good resources for that because you don't declare your major until the end of sophomore year, so I've got the time I need.
Why was F&M the right pick for you? Is there any specific leverages to make you want to go there?
It has a great location for me. I liked how it's in Lancaster, so there's access to a lot of things. It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's not in a huge city. It's not in Philadelphia, but it's still in a little bit of a city. And it's not that far from home, but it's far enough that I can do my own thing. And I think that their values really match mine, so I think that it's just going to be a really good fit.
What does it mean to you to keep continuing with track specifically, and why was track the thing that you wanted to do?
I love the big atmosphere of track and how many different people are put in that one space. I feel like track athletes are really nice people. It's one of those sports where there's not usually a lot of drama. It's just, you're there to have fun and do your best, and it's a great way to keep in shape as well. So I think that's why, and a focus and a way to get to know a lot of people.
What do you think are going to be some of the differences between track at Exeter, a high school environment, and F&M, which is a college environment?
I think that the training is definitely going to step up a notch. I'm going to transition from the 300 to the 400 hurdles, which is going to be kind of evil, but I'm excited. It's just moving up a little bit.
And there's other Exeter runners and athletes that are going to F&M for athletics. So do you know any of them?
Josh Brown is also going to be on the track team, so I think that'll be nice to know somebody. I think, as far as I know, he's the only other athlete, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. What has been your proudest accomplishment at Exeter, and how do you think that's going to affect not only you going into the future and other people that have been at Exeter?
I think just becoming a leader in so many different things, because I feel like I have the chance to impact, and I hope that when I graduate, people will look back and be like, oh, remember when we did this with Hayden? That's what I want. I want to be someone that was looked up to and someone that people have fond memories of.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years going into college and then after that?
I really don't know. I just want to get through it, honestly, and not in a bad way. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But there's just so many things to do, and I hope to travel and have a lot of experiences in the next few years. So it's really just where the future takes me. I don't want to be too strapped down to one idea.
Yeah. And no matter what you do or where you go, do you just always want to be a leader and inspire others with what you bring to the table?
I hope to. And I think that that's the other reason that Franklin and Marshall will be a good choice for me, because that is something that they focus on, is making you a leader and making sure that you are ready and prepared to go into the world and have the right toolbox to do so.
Is there anything else you want to add on today or talk about in terms of what you've been able to accomplish at Exeter or what's going to happen moving forward?
I think that's it. We're good.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It was awesome having you
thank you for having me
in the summer. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you to Hayden for coming on the show, and thanks to everyone for tuning in today. Bleeding Blue will continue throughout the summer with more incredible talent. If you would like to be on the show in the future, check the description of this episode or my website to apply as a guest. Make sure to also stay in loop with Bleeding Blue and check out Adam Cooke Journalism. Follow me on all my socials at Adam Cooke Journalism, and hit the follow or subscribe button wherever you're listening. Thank you for supporting local journalism with Bleeding Blue. This is Adam signing off.